Heck yeah. I like that pink. Nice. Hey guys, how we doing? So I just finished my yoga here, and a few minutes ago actually the sun was right on me, so I was really digging that. But I guess the day is coming to its cycling, and the sun is getting a little bit further away, and I'm grateful because I got in my time. I did my sun gazing, my deep breathing, my meditation, my yoga, and spent a bunch of time today, in nature. So it was wonderful. And then after all that, I'm pretty excited. I'm going to get my stinging groove on here with a little heat. I made a cantaloupe, banana, chia seed, coconut, and what else was in there? Oh, a little grounded flaxseed and habanero and jalapeno inside my drink. I love when I break down the peppers into a liquid. And again, remember I've mentioned this before, green juicing is a little bit different. When we use juicers, we extract the juice and we leave the fiber behind. But when we are making fruit juices, it is very important to have the fibrous elements of the fruit contained in your juice. Yeehaw. So for example, if you were going to be making apple juice, you wouldn't strain the mash from the apple, but you would contain that within the mixture of your drink. You can use things like the NutriBullet, the Ninja, in old school blender, and we'll see how far you get with the breakdown. Sometimes it's a little bit thicker, sometimes it gives you a nice little liquid consistency, but the main point is don't exclude the whole element of the fruits when you are drinking them. It can be quite a shock to the system, and I believe it is the pancreas which may be hit with that overload of sugars at one time. So you really want to displace that correctly and have your body be able to absorb and break that down without any negative aspect, so that you're getting the full benefit of your fruit sensations. So today's video, I thought I'd talk about, I'm seeing on the internet a lot is there is, as Dr. Oz had mentioned, veganism is the hottest thing in 2017. And maybe that's true, who knows. It seems like there is awareness growing when it comes to veganism. You definitely hear more people talking about factory farming and being in tune to the fact that where our foods are coming from. More and more people are supporting local farms for their food source, farmers markets. So things are a-changing. As a great man said, but maybe there's a copyright on his name and we know him as BD, the times are a-changing. So I wanted to talk about veganism because a lot of people miss the mark when it comes to the vegan lifestyle. And even though their heart and their souls are in the right place for the right reasons, and they want to improve their health and they want to help the planet and they want to help the animals, which is all very true, and that is an aspect of the vegan journey that does occur. So great job to anybody who switches over to vegan lifestyles. And I know it's not always easy and it takes a transition, but the downside of this whole let's say vegan movement is that people are missing the mark with the health consciousness and the health benefit of a proper diet, thinking that just because they went vegan, they'll have a healthy return. And that is far from the truth. We have a lot of processed vegan food items. As I've discussed in other videos, a majority of those are soy-based. We do not want to eat soy at all. We do not want to intake soy whatsoever. It affects our hormonal system. You never want to alter your hormonal balance. and it also is a protein. You do not want to introduce proteins to your body. We were lied to our whole lives when we were told, get your protein, eat your protein, where's your protein on that plate? I hope there's no protein on your plate, because it's a gift that there's no protein on my plate, or should I say my bowl. So with the tofu, soy product line, your veggie burgers, your veggie dogs, tempeh is a little bit better. You have your fermented aspects of grains mixed in there sometimes too, so that isn't as taxing. But the issue with the soy product line is that these are still processed foods. So they're really no different to your body than the processing of Cheetos or the processing of deli meats and these other very dense dehydrating foods, which don't give you any benefit but give you consequences that are in the negative. You know, many things fall into the plus or the negative, you know, the good or the maybe not so good. Love, or I don't want to say the other side of love. So when we intake these processed vegan food lines, we are taxing our systems. We are causing acidity, which reaches, you know, levels and imbalances that create acidosis. Acidosis is the formation foundation and the allowance of dis-ease to begin. So when we have an acidic system and our blood is acidic, then we are going to allow and or create a imbalance in our system, which is simply the basis of all diseases. So if we feed this system inside of us with these elements, which are just basically building blocks of a negative result, then we are going to find ourselves in a unhealthy imbalance, which we tried to get away from when we thought to ourselves we're going to go vegan and we're going to improve our lives and we're going to become healthier. So you can read up on this yourself. You don't have to take my word for it, even though I've been around the block and I've been down that road. I am coming from some complications, and I'll tell you, there's been times of problems because of my high intake of soy protein, soy-based processed foods. Back in the day when I was just a little youngster, and I'm like, you know, I love the animals, and I don't think any of this is right to harm them and to ingest something that I'd rather be a friend with. I went, like most people, into the supermarket, and I saw that whole, you know, soy section. You know, the veggie meatballs, and I mean, my goodness, you know, soy, 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 and I was loving it, and I thought I was doing right by me and by this planet, and far from the truth. I realized I was really putting myself in the backwards motion, and I had to then recuperate from all of that in my raw vegan journey, which has been a blessing and a gift, and all is well there. So it did take years and years and years of cleansing, fasting, and just high fruit ratio intake for me to feel like I was getting out the gunk and the toxicity and the imbalance of the processed soy foods. So I realized that everybody has done that or is doing it, and just as a friend, I'd like to let you know you might want to re-examine that, and like I said, look into that yourself, because it's really not going to help you in the end, and you're just really switching sides from the whole meat and dairy aspect to then the processed soy aspect. And though we can discuss the chemical differences and the physiological changes that occur from both of those sides, you're really standing in the same place when your body says, hey, what the heck? And when your body says, what the heck, you got to listen and say, I hear you, brother or sister inside of me, and I want to work with all my organs and system functions, and what can I do? And what you can do is cleanse and detox and really follow the pathway to the human species diet, which is being a frugivore. So there's a lot of ridiculous discussions online about the fact that we're omnivore, or that we're well, nobody's said, I don't think anybody said, probably they have in anger, that we're carnivores, because we know we're not, but I think I hear a lot more of the omnivore aspect, even though I bring that into my life because I eat some vegetables. But the truth is we're frugivores. That is the design of our system and the operations within, and that is how the Creator did his deal. So we really have to be aware that the vegan journey and the vegan passage to a better life of fulfillment and balanced health is going to bypass the processing and the high sugars and the preservatives and all the other ingredients that come into these vegan product lines. Personally, I'm not going to speak against veganism, because I supported and lived that way for a very long time, so it's nothing but beautiful and great, and anybody who's doing it, right on. But when I go to the health food store and I see all of these vegan items throughout the store, your vegan yogurts and your vegan nut milks, which are actually a wonderful concept. It's just that the preservatives that they add to these product lines are something you don't want to introduce to your body. So I like to make my own nut or grain milks, which is easy enough, and I can get into that in another video. But if you really look into all of these processed vegan items in the store, they don't have any placement inside our bodies or inside what we're trying to accomplish, which is feeling great and groovy and being the best we can be, because we can uplift ourselves through activities like the consciousness and meditation and yoga and exercise and love space, but also through the physical, within ourselves of our diet. So I'm not going to tell you about the whole, frugivore way, because I have in other videos and we can talk about that all day. I just thought it was important today to discuss the fact that I'm seeing so much of this vegan, choice mode on the World Wide Web, of this pasta action. It's the vegan mac and cheese with the vegan cheese, and then it's vegan donuts, and we got vegan cakes, and I mean, it just blows my mind, because I'm not seeing any difference. Like, am I at Carvel right now, or am I looking at vegan donuts? It's all the same game. The body, if it could talk, but it does, if you listen, will tell you, heck no. Just like the body says heck no to GMO, the body's saying heck no to this whole processed vegan, industry. So the powers to be that have gotten us and have destroyed aspects of our past journey, because now we're in a better place, because here we are trying to uplift ourselves through our consciousness and our diet. They have done such a good job of making us think that we need material goods, that we need pharmaceuticals to take care of health elements, instead of looking at the origins of the health elements we have. They look at the results of these health ailments, and then they say to us, take this thing which will create more acidity in your system, disrupt your whole internal balance, and oh yeah, by the way, have side effects which will kill you, or cause permanent damage, or damage that will take you a very long time to reconstruct and get out of. So we don't want to fall into that same trap when it comes to veganism. We really want to celebrate this planet and the animals and all the varying beautiful consequences of eating off the land, and having community, and having this awareness and this love with everybody that knows that the old ways are wrong. And the old ways are when you take something off the shelf at the store, that is wrong. There shouldn't be anything you're taking off the shelf at the store and putting into your body. Are there exceptions? I will think about that. Legumes come in a bag sometimes, or you can get loose legumes, okay? I can hear that. We got bags of rice and stuff. Okay, that's on a shelf. I don't know. I like brown rice syrup. That comes in a jar off the shelf. So, okay, I'm hearing it. We got some raw nut butters. I can groove with that. That there's some elements of acceptance once in a while, like a treat. But otherwise, when you walk into the health food store, all of these items on the shelves, these crackers and these chips, and I mean, it really is endless, and it's really evolving and growing. These things aren't going to help you in the end, and these aren't going to help you with the end game. And I know that everybody can agree with the end game of having that absolute fulfillment of a healthy body and a healthy mind, and lessening their imprint on this planet with how they are living. Even though there are things we can't control, such as the whole driving a car situation, though we can try to go biodiesel, but then there's a limit on how many diesel vehicles there are, where you're located. Do you have to make your own biodiesel? Is there a network like in California when I was there that I could buy it from the local group that took it from the restaurants and recycled it? So there's so many different ways that we can live our lives that are better for each other, ourselves, and the planet. But this is going to be maybe a controversial video where I'm saying these processed vegan foods are not that. These are too dehydrating, they're too dense, and they're not giving you any nutrition. They're not allowing your body to utilize any of its processing mechanisms to break down these foods and give you something in the end. They're really setting you back, and they're going to create other health problems. Here's a great example. If you have ever eaten fruit as a meal, or let's get crazy and say a salad, tell me how you feel after. You feel light, you feel fulfilled, you even feel energy, and you feel great, you feel fine, you feel like I'm going to go on to the next thing, whatever that is. I'm going to do my writing, I'm going to read, I'm going to watch a documentary, I'm going to exercise, whatever that is. The potential for you to be in motion, whether it's within your mind or your body, is absolutely there for the taking. Now take the opposite side of that and eat a pasta dinner, and you sauteed some mushrooms and some steamed asparagus, and you get all wild, and you got some boiled potato and whatnot. Okay, these things have elements that are positive, but really what you've just created now is a dense, unabsorbable, taxing situation. So how do you feel after that pasta meal? Well, I know from my experience, I felt heavy. I felt like, I have to take a step back. I have to sit down. Oh, I feel so full. Sometimes even, I feel a little fatigued. I just want to sit here. Well, that's America. That's what they've done to us. How is that any different than when we go to McDonald's and we eat that Big Mac and we're like, I just got to sit back. Let me use that remote control. The same thing can occur, just with a different face, when it comes to these vegan accepted food sources. So I'm just here to say, think about it. There's no judgment. I've done it all, so I can relate to anybody. And if anybody has any questions about anything that deals with the vegan journey, which ends with, the raw awareness and, fruitarianism, then always shoot me a question or a comment or whatever it is, and I'm there to help. I'll do anything to answer your question or figure out how to answer your question. But I just thought this was an important subject because of the onslaught of this processed, vegan food supply that I'm seeing come into, our whole system. So look into it, think about it. Take experiments and eat that raw food meal, and then eat that, whatever it is, veggie dog and veggie burger and grilled tofu, meal, and see how you feel. And you tell me what's better for us, because I think your body will tell you. So I hope that this helped, and I wish that somebody had let me know about this when I was younger and I was going through the motions of trying to better myself, because I wasted a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of my body's energy on these sources that in the end gave me no gain, and they did not help me elevate whatsoever, and they kept me stagnant, and they created a host of other ailments and diseasements that then I had to deal with anyway, to be where I am now, which is in a much, much better place. Do I have further to go? Yeah. Have I made a lot of mistakes? Absolutely. That's another video. So I'm going fruit. I'm going some veggie power, eat that salad, at the end of the day. Or I've been actually doing a lot of the raw soups lately for dinner, and that has been so amazing and great. I just love raw soups. That's like, I'm on a bender. So I had a video on I think I had my raw tomato soup one night. But I'll do some more videos on raw soups, because I'm really getting into that as like a staple, because I like the whole liquiditarian themed lifestyle, because I really don't have any issues in digestion. Even roughage from eating, kale and these other greens on my plate, it still took some energy and exertion and time to deal with, even though it was still blessed liquid gold. But when I do the vegetable raw soup action, I'll tell you, it is like going fruity at night, because the energy I have after is like, yeehaw, whoa. And then I have to say to myself, oh boy, I got energy, and it's, 10 at night. So these are just things to think about, that's all. No big deal. Each day is a different opportunity to change or to reconsider or think or grow. So everything's in its place, and you're all doing wonderful and great. And I'm really happy that you've supported watching my videos, and I hope that you've learned enough to make some great raw meals, and just have the awareness so that you're on your path to feeling groovy. All right? So I wish you the best always, and like I always say, link through my comments on the bottom of the page for the video, and write me, and ask me whatever you want to ask me, and I'll help you out, because I want to see you feel great, and I want to see you heal, and I want to see the movement of raw foods take over, so we can stop with all this hogwashing and stop wasting time and really get to the heart of matters, which is love, space, and higher consciousness, community, connectivity, and being at our best. We are one. So, what do you think? Positive vibrations.